Hi everyone, my name is Frankie Chavoya. I'm currently one of the academic coaches in the Student Success and Dream Center office in LRC 101. We are going to be conducting a presentation today on how to earn an associate's degree. We are going to be talking about a couple of different associate's degrees and how they can assist you whether you end up wanting to going into a career, or if you want to use associate's degrees for transfers to transfer out and get yourself a bachelor's degree and maybe even pursue a higher educational degree. So let's go ahead and get the presentation started. So the two learning objectives for this presentation are evaluating the importance of an associate's degree, and the other one is to distinguish the difference between a traditional associate's degree and an associate's degree for transfer. So what is an associate's degree? An associate's degree is an undergraduate academic degree awarded by community colleges upon completion of a course of study lasting 2 to 3 years. It is considered to be a greater level of education than a high school diploma, but less than a bachelor's degree. So like the information does say, it does take 2 to 3 years to obtain an associate's degree, and it's usually a step above a high school degree, but a step below a bachelor's degree. So once you do get an associate's degree, which typically majority, if not all students end up getting one, if they're considering on transferring out or going into a career, it does take them like 2 to 3 years, and then after that they would pursue either their career or trying to pursue a bachelor's degree. So let's go ahead and click on this link, and this link is going to take us to a video that's going to explain to us what is the importance of pursuing a higher education and the degree differences and like the pay rate and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and watch it and let's take a look at it.
The future belongs to those who prepare for it today. Successful students are those with a purpose, and efforts towards the right degree creates a tool for success. The difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. With each degree you earn, you increase your earning potential. Ultimately, college gives you perspective and context to succeed in life.
What is the most inspiring thing I ever said to you? Don't be an idiot. Changed my life. Whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing.
Okay, let's go back to our presentation now. So now that we're back, hopefully y'all saw that, like, I think the main thing to take away from the presentation let's see, let me go ahead and stop this. The main thing you want to take away from the YouTube video is the differences between the income, right? Because a lot of us do have family, a lot of us do want to be able to assist our families, nephews, uncles, aunts, or maybe even create a better life for yourself. So that's why it is very important to make sure that you do obtain, unless you go into business and you know what you want to do, then that's completely fine. But if you don't know, that's why you always want to pursue education, so you can try to just at least have that fallback plan and create a better life for yourself. So that would be a good way of kind of going about that. So now we're going to focus on why earn a degree. So a college education is a pathway for success and a better life, which is what I just said. College graduates earn more money and get better jobs. Unemployment rates are lower for college graduates. College will allow you to financially assist your loved one, another thing I brought up. College opens doors and opportunities to expand your horizons. You will experience new points of views. That one I feel is very important. Before I started going to community college or even got my bachelor's degree or my master's, I wasn't aware of what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know where my life was going to end up and things like that. And I kind of saw life a lot more different than I do now. So taking like my sociology classes, psychology classes, my history classes, ethnic and women's studies classes, like all these classes were amazing because they gave me a different perspective on how to look at life and maybe start planning on how I want my life to be. So that's why it's always a great way to kind of look at it that way. Let's go on to the next point. It's graduating from college will be a source of pride because it is a great accomplishment, and which is true. I am very prideful of like what I've accomplished through my academic career, and so will you. So hopefully one day you can also obtain like a bachelor's degree, master's, and even your PhD, or go into a great career that you'll be happy to be in. You also get to follow your dreams and determine your future. So that's also another great point. And also, so another thing, you always want to make sure you take these things into consideration to make the best choice for your life and your loved ones and see what is it that you want to do. So another great, when we were doing a little bit of research, a great statistics, a great analysis of statistics that we were able to find was from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. So for the year 2017, the median weekly earnings of unemployed rates by education attainment were what this graph shows. So if you have a less than a high school diploma, the median weekly income was about a little over $500 a week, which doesn't seem that bad when you're young, but then once you do have a house, you have a car payment, insurances, health care, a lot of stuff that you do have to pay, it might not be as much as you would like. With a high school diploma, with no college, it's a little less than $750. Some college with no degree, it's a little over $750. Associate's degrees, a little over $750. A bachelor's degree, you could see the difference between associate's and a bachelor's degree, and that income does make a difference. So it's a little below $1,250 a week. Your master's degree pushes you up to in between $1,250 to $1,500. A professional degree is also really, really good. So it gives you it gets you like a medium weekly income of about $1,550. And for the doctoral degree, it's a little less than $1,750. So you want to keep that in mind. And also, if you are interested in researching these statistics, or maybe even getting an up-to-date kind of graph that illustrates this information, you go ahead and click on the link below, and it should probably take you to the website that is going to give you all that information. Let's go ahead and go on to the next PowerPoint. So now we're going to focus on the degrees and certificates that Rio Hondo College offers for its students. So what degrees do we offer? There's two types of degrees. So advantages of earning a traditional associate's degree and advantages of earning an associate's degree for transfer. So remember, there's two different ones. So if you ever hear like an associate's degree, that would probably typically be the general one. But if you hear the associate's degree for transfer, that's usually the one that is used for students that are interested to transfer out to like usually the Cal State systems. So yeah, so the advantages of the traditional associate's degree is that it takes less time than a bachelor's degree. It furthers your education options. So let's say one day you do get your associate's degree, but then you end up going to work, but you want to come back to school. At least you'll have that degree and you already have taken some classes to kind of get you onto the next step on the process of whatever your academic objective might be. It gives you more career opportunities. So some jobs might require you to have an associate's degree versus not having one. So then you have more opportunities to go into a field. You get more money, lower risk of unemployment. So you have a better chance of getting a job than a high school student. And it costs less. So it doesn't cost as much as like maybe other degrees, especially because we are a community college. Our classes are a lot cheaper than they would be at the Cal State system, at the UC system, private schools. So just kind of keep that in mind. So also advantages of earning an associate's degree for transfer. You earn an associate's degree while preparing for transfer for the CSUs. So with this, the ADT, you do get like some perks. So you always want to check in with the counselor. So you do get like a priority over other students. You get guaranteed admissions into a Cal State, and you get like a GPA boost. So you always want to make sure you check in with the counselors and see how can you get one of those degrees. Because let's say, for example, you were tied up with a student for, let's say a school has one more spot for one more student, and it's between you and someone else, and that student doesn't have an ADT, but you do, that gives you a better chance of getting that last spot than that other student. So just kind of keep that in mind, always checking with your counselors in regards to that. Guaranteed admissions into ACSU, we also brought up earlier. ADT trumps major preparation. You get the GPA bump, what we talked about, and you get a junior standing as a transfer. So once you transfer out, you're not starting as a freshman or sophomore or anything like that. You're going to be starting as a junior. So you just do 2 more years. So you do your 2 years at Rio Hondo, and then you do your 2 years once you transfer out, and then you should be able to get your bachelor's degree. And if you are interested in looking at additional information in regards to the differences between these two, we do have the link at the bottom. So go ahead and write it down, or you could also use it to click on it and then go to our website and check it out. So certificates by division and certificates of achievement. So these are different certificates that we also offer at Rio Hondo. So these are kind of broken down into by division. So by different like classes you're going to be required to take, different programs. So that's why you always want to take a look at these and see which ones we do offer. So for arts and cultural programs, we do have like, if you could take a look at them, they do have entertainment and art. So there's like different options that they do have. But if you look at for graphic design, there's a lot of different like emphasis that they do have. So you always want to take a careful look at maybe a certain emphasis, because it does make a difference on whether you want to go into a certain field or not. So you always want to make sure that you check in with the counselor and see maybe even a career counselor would be great for this, because if you could tell the career counselor, hey, you know what, I'm interested in going into this field, and this is exactly what I want to do, the career counselor would be able to tell you, oh, okay, if that's what you want to do, maybe this graphic design and this would be the best option for you. So you always want to make sure you take academic counselor's advice on that, so they could kind of guide you if you don't know what you're doing or what degree to follow. For behavior and social sciences, we do have child development, drug studies, elementary teacher education, infant toddler specialization, language and literacy specialization, preschool teacher, and special education. So these are also, like I said, different. They're kind of similar, but they kind of specialize in their own field. So like I said, you always want to talk to a counselor about these and see which one applies to you. So just kind of keep that in mind, okay? All right, let me see. So more certificates that we do offer at Rio Hondo. So business is a huge thing for our students. A lot of our students want to go into business. So these are a lot of the different like type of certificates that we do offer in business at Rio Hondo. So we have accounting. We have accounting for government and nonprofit organizations, business and marketing, CIT, which is cloud computing practitioner, the CIT computer systems, cybersecurity. So see, you can see all those CIT, which is cloud computer, the CIT classes that we do offer, which is computer information technology. So there's a lot of different emphasis that computer information technology does have. So like cybersecurity technician, ethical hacker, information systems, office technologies, network administrator, systems administrator. So you could take a look at all of them and you see like the differences. And if you don't know which one is what, I think a great thing for you to do is kind of become a researcher now that you're in college, right? You always want to research these things and know how it applies to you. So if you don't know the differences between them, the great thing about having like the internet is that we could always Google it, right? Even myself till this day, but when I don't know something, the first thing I always want to do is just go to Google, start looking up some resources, try to figure out what is it that this thing is, or the definition of it, or how does it work, how is it applicable to me. So I think that's a great way for you to start becoming a researcher, a practitioner, and start kind of using this to line up your career objectives with your academic objectives. So just kind of keep that in mind. These are the associate degrees for transfer. So these are what we were talking about earlier. So there's ADTs, there are ASTs, and AATs. So the AATs is just associate degrees for transfer. So if you look at all of them right here, these are the different ones that we're talking about, and the perks that we're talking about getting guaranteed admissions into a Cal State and things like that. These would be the degrees that you want to look at. So if you are interested in transferring to Cal State, we would highly encourage you to take a look at these. And if you go to our website, if you take, let's say, for example, you click on Administration of Justice, we have like a plan already, like it's there. And all you have to do is take a look at the plan, see what classes we're asking you to take, and you work with the counselor, and the counselor is going to break down everything for you, put in your educational plan. And that's how you start figuring out what classes you do need to take and what you need to be doing, okay? So there's a lot of great options that the Rio Hondo Community College students do have here, and these are very popular degrees. So we are very lucky that Rio Hondo is able to offer these to our students. So the AA, AAT versus AST and AST. So the AA usually encompasses science and liberal arts backgrounds with an emphasis on humanities, right? So these are more humanities classes that you take and things like that. On the other hand, the AS gives a liberal arts background as well. However, it has a lot of emphasis in the science and math. So the associates in science the AST is more, it has more like math and science courses that you're going to be taking versus the AAT. So you want to keep that in mind. If you know that you have more strength in one over the other, then you always want to check in with the counselor. So they could tell you, oh, maybe this would be the better route for you, or maybe not. So make sure the key thing here is always you want to check in with the counselor, an academic counselor. They'll help you out with all this information. And because you are new students, new incoming students, I know it's a lot of information. It's overwhelming. It took me years to figure all this stuff out. So that's why you want to avoid any issues, any confusion, any gray areas by seeing a counselor so they could clear this up for you. So the requirements. For Rio Hondo, associate's degree for graduation requirements is that you have to get a general associate's degrees. You do need to have 60 degree applicable units. You need to at least pass your reading 23 or score of 82 on the AccuPlacer. You need to pass math 60, 70 or higher. You need to take 2 physical education classes and 12 unit in residence. So 12 unit in residence just mean at the minimum of 12 units at Rio Hondo Community College. So just kind of keep that in mind if you are attending other community colleges. So general education requirements. So you do all have to complete American institutions, natural sciences with lab, social and behavior sciences, is so you can done within 2 years. And all these classes do have to be passed with a C or better. So if you could look at the bottom of the page, it's always a C or better. So just kind of keep that in mind. ADT requirements. So if you are planning on getting an ADT requirements, you do have to complete 60 transferable units. You do have to complete the general education, the ADT major requirements, and you do have to have a minimum of a 2.0 transferable GPA. But remember, you always want to make sure you get like A's in these classes or B's, the lowest, because a lot of majors are very competitive and you want to make sure you have way above a 2.0 GPA so you can go to the school that you would like. So like I said, if you are having problems in the class and you might get an F or you don't know if you're going to pass it, that's why it's always great to talk to your professors, talk to counselors, seeing what your options are so you can make sure you put yourself in the best position possible to get passing grades for all these classes. Another very, very important thing is the Golden 4. So the Golden 4 is basically your speech, English, critical thinking, and your math. So these are very important classes because these are like the main courses that a lot of schools look at when they are considering your admissions. So you always want to make sure you pass these classes with an A if you can. So that's very, very important. Right, in order for you, how long will it take you to transfer out? So students, honestly, depending on what school you want to go to, private schools do take students that have like 30 units or less. So I've seen students go to community college and transfer out in 1 year, but that's only for private schools. If you do want to go to a UC or a Cal State, usually for those, it does take the minimum of 60 transferable units. So remember, the keyword here is that they are transferable units, not just any classes are transferable. So you have to always make sure that you know if your class is transferable or not. So you have to start calculating. So if you need 60 transferable units, you have to make sure that by the time your last semester at Rio Hondo that you finish the 60. And remember, when you apply to transfer out, you do have to apply 1 year ahead. So usually your first year at Rio Hondo, you get like 30 units, and then at the end of that year, you want to apply to transfer out. And then the next year, you're completing your next 30 units, and then you transfer out, okay? So keep that in mind. So to get, like, that's why it's very important to see a counselor, so they could give you your academic plan. The counselor is going to tell you, hey, you're going to tell the counselor, hey, this is my major, this is the school I want to go to, and this is what I want to do. So they're going to basically give you your student educational plan and say, hey, so if that's what you want to do, then you're looking at this. You have to take these many classes this semester. This is what you have to take this semester. This is what you have to take this semester. So then you have your plan, and you know what the expectations are, and you know what classes you need to pass, when you need to pass them, how you need to pass them. So a combination of, you know, seeking out resources, talking to your professors, seeking out assistance is very important in order for you to be academically successful. So keep that in mind. So you also, your grades earned, talk to your professors. Professors are also human. Sometimes I feel like that students, even myself, when I was a student, I felt like, man, like professors don't really understand us. They don't really care for us and things like that. But that's not the case. Like a lot of once I started opening up to professors and asking them for assistance, asking them for help, going to their office hours, and they were seeing that they would see that I was really trying. They were very understanding. They always assisted me whenever possible. They were very cool. A lot of my professors, even from community college right now, have written me letters of recommendations for like programs, schools, and when I was applying to like graduate programs and stuff like that. So that's why it's very important to build those connections with professors and make sure that you always check in with them. You also have to complete your lower division major prep courses. So there's like the GEs, major prep courses, there's like electives, there's a lot of different classes that you can be taking, right? Like that's why I keep on saying, you want to make sure you see a counselor. So there's also the extracurricular activities, there's jobs, athletics, and clubs. So it's a combination of how long you're going to be able to complete the requirements, given all these other side things that you do have, right? And if you are interested in applying to transfer out, remember that you want to be well-rounded. So a lot of schools now want students that are well-rounded, that were involved in clubs, that participated in programs, who were giving back to their community, like were volunteering and things like that. So that's why it's very important to always take advantage of that and do and try to also get involved. So when you apply and they're asking you, hey, what were you involved in? What clubs? What were you doing? You could say, oh, I was involved in this. I was doing this and that. So it looks really great on your application, and you have a better chance of getting into a school of your choice. So also keep that in mind. So petition to graduate. In your last semester of taking classes, that's when you're going to petition to graduate. It's an online application. You have to see a counselor to verify your eligibility. Once again, see the counselor. You always want to make sure that every semester, at least once, even if it's not mandatory, you want to make sure that at least once a semester, you talk to a counselor. If your class changed, if you didn't pass a class, if you withdrew from a class, that's why it's very important to always see a counselor so they could tell you and you won't get caught off guard. Let's say, for example, you thought you were going to graduate and it turns out that you were missing a class. You don't want that happening. So that's why it's very important to always see your counselors so they could verify your graduation, your transferable units, the schools you're getting into, and everything. So just keep that in mind. These are some of the support services that we do have at Rio Hondo Community College. As you can see, we have many resources for our students, and you want to make sure you take advantage of these resources. Do not wait until like the last minute. Do not wait until like maybe you have an issue to go seek out these services. It's always good to build that rapport or that connection, that bond with offices, with people. So people recognize you, people know you, they know like maybe what your academic trajectory. And sometimes even like us in the Student Success and Dream Center, we have students coming in all the time that we build that connection with, and we love seeing them every single day coming into the office. We feel anytime they have an issue, we're always there for them to help them out, to assist them, see what resources we provide for them. So it's always good to have, you know, that person, that connection on campus, especially with the offices. So if you ever are having any issues, they'll be there for you and they'll be able to help you out. And because you build that connection with them, they kind of know where you're at, what you're doing, or where you're going, and what kind of resources they could offer you. So it's very important to also look into these and see what applies to you and take advantage of them. This link right here, if we click on this link, it's going to take us to a page. This is just like a longer guide of all the important resources. So these are also all the other resources we do have on campus, so take advantage of those. So let's go back to the presentation. So if you do have any questions, we do want to say that if you're more than welcome to come talk to us at the Rio Hondo Student Success and Dream Center in LRC 101. But unfortunately, given the circumstances right now because of COVID-19, you can't come to the office. But what you can do is you can contact our office. So let me go ahead and take you to our website. So it's going to be riohondo.edu. The way you can find our office is if you go to close this right here. You go to current student. You're gonna go to student success and dream center. If you click on here, it kind of has it kind of discloses the information about what's going on and stuff like that. But if you scroll down, it gives you our hours, our information, and also our phone number. So you feel free to give us a call at 562-463-6650 so we can assist you and we can help you out with any questions or problems you might be having. And try to do everything as soon as possible. Like, remember, don't wait until the last minute to get this done. And something I do want to tell you is that if you are interested in transferring out, remember the transferring process doesn't start a month from now, a year from now. It starts the day you start Rio Hondo. So don't think because it's your first semester that you could just take like any random classes. You do have more liberty and more options because you are a new student. But if you already know what you want to do, then you want to see a counselor and tell them, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to transfer out here, there, and then they could get your academic plan ready and you're good to go. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening to the presentation. And hopefully I could see and hear from you guys in the future. I hope you have a great day and I hope you have great health.